today we're going to talk about performance marketing, the truth that nobody tells you. So, hi, Anil.
Hi.
So, today we're going to talk to you. You're the performance marketing expert, the digital head in Xebec. So, who better than you to answer our very critical questions on performance marketing? So, everyone says performance marketing is measurable, but why do so many brands still lose money?
It's not a question of losing money. It's about setting the objectives at the onset. People confuse between lead generation to a sale to a brand building activity. So when you're not clear on the objectives, that's when you end up losing the money. So as we know, brand building is the mainstay in any marketing activity. People tend to get straight away into lead generation or into a sales activity without actually building the brand. That's when clients actually lose money. For example, they'll say, I want sales from day one. It's not possible. Like, you look at the early days pre-digital, I mean, you don't start selling on day one. First, you advertise, build the brand, and then you get to sales. The same logic and the basics of brand building stays intact even with the digital age.
So, what would you suggest? So, let's say if a client had 100 lakhs, that's 1 crore budget, how much should they allocate? I'm talking about a new, a brand which is still in the process of being built. So, it's still a product or a service at this juncture. What should be the budget ideally for brand building, and what should be the budget for hardcore performance marketing?
I would say at least 30-40% should go into the brand building part, because unless you build the brand, you're not going to get the bottom of the funnel in any case. So put as much as money as possible. Not only digital, I mean, he has to actually spend money other than digital as well, whether it could be print ads or TV or any other retail activity. So 30-40% goes into hardcore brand building. 60% can go into other conversion digital platforms.
So, what is the biggest mistake marketers or founders make when they allocate a budget for performance marketing? What I've seen is that they want to be on every platform. They'll say, or my ad is not being visible here. So, what do you think is that fundamental mistake they make, and what is the message we should be giving out to them as what course correction they need to do in their thinking?
Again, I mean, they have to be very, very clear as to what is the outcome they're expecting. Every activity cannot be measured as sales. Some will go to brand building, some will be just for awareness, some will be maybe website traffic, some could be leads, some will be conversion ads like e-commerce website. So brands have to be very, very clear. Most of the times they kind of mix it up all together and say, now I want sales at the end of it. So that will not work. So when we have predefined objectives and goals, you get the results, whichever brand it is, or whichever, whether it's a startup or an established.
So, essentially, what you're saying is that the objectives of a campaign has to be very clear. Ideally, you should not change the goal post in the middle of the campaign. You have to think through and say that, okay, if we don't get the required result, then we'll do the course correction. But if we are getting the result, then we'll let the campaign run for a while and then we'll see. Right? This is what you're saying. So now, coming to choosing the platforms, as you're aware, we have so many platforms, whether it's Meta, Google, X. In Google, of course, we have YouTube. You have Amazon, and of course, today I think even quick commerce are allowing you to advertise. So, what is that one platform you would say don't go for? Don't go for this particular platform, but only choose these three. And what is the logic behind 3, 4, 5, or maybe you're saying go for all the platforms?
So essentially, finally, it depends on the budget and how deep pockets you have as a brand. So the smaller budget and smaller brands, typically Google and Meta are typically non-negotiable platforms. So these are your go-to platforms, more cost-effective. The bigger budgets you have, then you go into OTT or an Amazon, and you expand your platforms. You go into an X, you go to a LinkedIn, you maybe go into programmatic buying, and so on and so forth. Because with limited budget, Google and Meta obviously gives you a lower cost per click that matter, or a low cost per impression. And these are the go-to platform from a user perspective also. I mean, people are there on YouTube, they're on Instagram, they are searching something or other 365 days, 24 hours a day. So these are your go-to platforms. Like X, for example, in India, as an advertising platform, maybe you could give this.
Okay. But for US markets, you would say X is a very good option, especially for IT and ITS companies.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, actually, I'm talking about only from the Indian context. We need to talk about global, then now you have to look at TikTok. In India, obviously, TikTok is banned. Whereas there, I would say TikTok is much probably bigger than even Instagram. So platforms change as per the geography.
So let's address the elephant in the room, which is the quality of leads. So the minute a client, especially a client who has not been doing performance marketing on a regular basis, immediately starts complaining about the quality of leads. They say that, this is, let's say, a luxury property, or this is, we don't even have a dealer here. How are these leads being generated? So, how do you deal with that, and what is the real problem here?
So some issues are with the platform itself. Like both Meta and Google, they themselves have acknowledged it and not been able to address the issue. But I would say to my clients that look at the quality of the leads, which are good quality leads, concept work on them. 80%, 85% of the leads will be junk leads. You just disregard that. That's your cost of customer acquisition, essentially. I mean, you have to build into your overall cost for the campaign. Otherwise, look at the 15-20%, really work on that and you'll get the results. 85%, I mean, you whatever you do, you will not get that. Maybe it may go from 15%, it can go to 25%, maybe up to 30% if the brand is well known. Again, depends on product, service, what you're offering is an established brand. If it's real estate, luxury real estate, it's difficult to get high quality leads because the audience are not going to fill in the lead when it's a poor property. But if it's a mid segment, 1 crore, 1.5 up to 2 crores, people do fill leads. So you have to understand each campaign dynamics are different. No two campaigns are alike. Even if it's the same 4 crore project, campaigns can differ. It will depend on the brand visibility. If it's a example, Pristine or a Godrej, two different brands will perform totally different.
So, that's an interesting point you made about luxury marketing. Yeah, I agree with you that if I'm going to buy a 10 lakh luxury handbag, I'm definitely not going to fill in a lead. So then how would you reach out to these customers who are interested in luxury segments, whether it's cars, whether it's handbags, whether it is real estate? How would you reach them?
No, you can reach out to them. The only difference is that they may not fill up a lead. That's the only thing. You reach out to them, you do good kind of brand communication, marketing communication, use the same channels. Maybe some mediums can change. For example, if it's luxury, you look at premium publishers like a BBC or a CNN or an Economist. Look at those kind of platforms. Good messaging that can work. See the brand when the client sees a brand which is connecting with him, maybe it's a BMW or a Merc or Ferrari, whatever, they'll see the communication, but the way they'll reach out to the brand will be in a different way. They'll not necessarily put it in a lead. Either they'll walk into the store if it's a luxury brand, or maybe one of the assistants may reach out. So that different ways they'll reach out. Main moot point here is that you have to build the brand and make it visible as such.
Okay, so the next question is the reach myth. As you all know, impressions versus reach. And of course, there are the vanity metrics. We all know that. So let's settle this once and for all. The reach myth. Is a reach and impressions, is it only a vanity metric, or is it for real?
It's for real. I would give an example. I mean, you look at a billboard, you put a billboard. There are impressions, there are reach. Is it measurable? No. Here at least it's measurable. That's one. Second example I would give is what would you give to gather 1,000 people in a room? So you imagine that's a auditorium of 1,000 people. Somebody sees that event, they'll say, "Wow, great! 1,000 people in an event." I mean, on social media or on Google, you can reach millions of people with a fraction of money. I mean, that's how you have to compare the two different mediums and see whether reach is important or not. I would say it's very, very important.
Very well said. I must say this is a very good answer. And this is what clients, if you're listening, this is a very good analogy. Because see, some of the things I think we need to take from traditional media also, like for example, visibility and the number of people who have simply been reached. And from there, we look at who our target audiences, right? So, what are the metrics that actually matter? Everyone loves dashboards, as you're fully aware. But which numbers actually predict business growth? Tell us that.
Yeah, reach is important, engagement is important, clicks are important. The click is and also website visitors. I mean, this is where we really measure the dwell time, how much of time they've actually spent on a website on a particular page. These are very important metrics, which we always track and see how we can improve on that.
So, going back then in that case, as a corollary, I'm asking this question about luxury marketing. Would that be a good metric? How many people have actually landed on your website? Or how many people have come to Instagram and checked it? They may not have filled in a lead. So, would that be a good metric to measure?
Very good metrics on a website. That's why you need to have always when you're running a performance campaign, you have a landing page or a website where you take the customers to and can always measure the time spent by the customer. They may not necessarily fill the lead.
So, these are all about big budget clients, number of platforms. I mean, they can sometimes afford to go to so many platforms, etc. What about a client who has a smaller budget? He also wants to reach his audience. So he may not have a budget of a crore a month. He may only have a budget of a lakh of rupees. So do you advise that he should also be on digital platforms and he should also reach out to his customers, or should he look at some other channels?
I mean, it's more the reason for him to be on digital platform because any other channel is much more expensive. You can't do a print ad or a television or a billboard. So digital is the best platform for him. Of course, he has to be again be clear on the objectives. What does he want to do with that 1 lakh? Does he want to generate leads or them to get a sale or he wants to build a brand? So if he wants to build a brand, then of course content creation, all that matters. Then 1 lakh is only the performance, but that he still has to spend money on the content creation. That's also very important. The quality of the content is very important. How does he do that? In the beginning, get some influencers, promote those content again. These are the things that you can do on this.
So that's another very interesting point you brought up is the content creation. How important is the content creation versus the performance dollars or the rupees you put in for a campaign?
I mean, any campaign success will depend only on the content that is available there because without the good content, your performance is bound to fail essentially. Because today, even on Meta, some of the types of ads like Advantage Plus, for example, it actually reads the creative content what is given there and targets the audience accordingly. So if I say, I mean, if the creative is intending for luxury audience, it will reach out to those audience who are a propensity to buy a big ticket item. And so content is king still, and I would give it inordinately disproportionate weightage than anything else.
Okay, so all you brand marketeers, listen to that. Another very pertinent question is once a company decides to do performance marketing or go digital and put their money there, they want results instantly. Although this was, the whole roadmap is for 6 months or 8 months or a quarter, they expect to see results in between 7 to 15 days. Is it possible to deliver results in 7 to 15 days?
7 days would be too short a time because of each of the platform itself takes 10 to 15 days to start optimizing. Google takes up to 3 months for a real good optimization scope. But I would say do not have very high expectations from day one because again it depends on whether the brand is a known brand, they already built the brand and now they want just conversion. It may work start delivering within 7 days, but otherwise give it a month's time at least. Otherwise, I mean, you're not going to see success.
Okay. So, how do you manage client expectation when they are expecting results in 15 days or 21 days? How do you manage the client expectation? How do you kind of reassure them that the campaign is working, it's going to work, the money is not being wasted?
So we are very transparent when we are dealing with the client. So we tell them one is we tell them upfront that 15 days is the minimum optimization campaign for it to show some results. And what we do is we don't put all the monies upfront in the first 15 days. I mean, we build the campaign gradually. The first 15 days, we all know is a learning phase. So the campaign kind of grows over a period of time. And we are very transparent with the clients.
So, what is that one specialty you have in Xebec as to why people should come to us for performance marketing?
So one is we are very transparent in whatever plans we give. We share our dashboards, the real-time dashboards. We share even access to the platform, the back end. If somebody is interested to see that, if they're able to understand it, we are able to share that. We give very realistic targets, and we have been able to achieve those numbers. I mean, continuously, always.
Thank you very much, Anil Bhat. It's been a pleasure.